And welcome to another episode of On the Move with Matt. Today I'm here with Peyton and Rachel Crickman, and they are the owners of Air Care Services. So thanks for coming on today.
Absolutely.
Dino, what are you doing? Get out of my seat.
Let's get started. How did you guys get to Winchester? Are you from here? Did you move here?
Yeah, I was born at Winchester Medical, just right down the road here, and then later worked there, so that was a cool scenario. And then moved away for a minute, but had to come back to good old Winchester, Wink City.
There you go.
Yeah, I've basically been born and raised here. Well, I was born in Reston, but, moved out here. We were 10. I was 10. Not all of us, but I was. Been here ever since, and don't have any plans to leave.
And how did you guys start Air Care Services? Have you been entrepreneurs your whole life, or how long have you had the business?
No, I was supposed to be a psychologist, so this was not my initial plan. I'm glad it worked out this way. I was interviewing for PhD programs in the fall of 2020, I think, and that didn't pan out, partially because of the pandemic. Anyway, we started the company in March of 2020, so it wasn't fall of 20. It was fall of 2019.
Yeah.
Anyway, started the company in spring of 2020. And just kind of hit the ground running. Didn't give ourselves any time to think about it, and just I had always been doing HVAC since I was 17. I started working for her dad, and it's worked out okay.
So how's it been so far working together as husband and wife? Was it husband and wife from the beginning, or did you guys kind of just come together later?
Yeah.
I'll let you know how it is working with her whenever she comes to work.
You stop that right now. We did things a little bit backwards. We were high school sweethearts, and then decided to, let me think of the layout of how it went. We bought a house, started a company, got married, had children, continued said company. And I switched careers a little bit like Peyton, going from the psychology route. I was a nurse by trade, and fortunately, because of the company, was able to step away, and I part-time, stay-at-home mom, part-time, come to the office and try to help talk to the clients a little bit.
So do you run the office portion and take the phone calls and all that? Or are you out there working on, are you out there getting people AC back?
Yeah.
The phone number online is my phone number. You will not get Rachel.
That's true. But if you message us on Facebook or...
You'll get Jay.
No. Yes, I do a little bit of the in-house stuff, like our QuickBooks and making sure maintenances are being completed and some of the banking side of things. But
Right.
the hope was for me to move more into clientele scheduling, but that takes a lot of work and a
Right.
lot of time that you dedicate. And I want to be with my babies more than just
And to be clear, I'm very grateful for what she does.
Yeah.
The QuickBooks stuff's alone. I mean, I don't want to do it.
Right.
So I'm glad she does. And she handles our maintenance. That was kind of her baby. Maintenance and HVAC, and I think any trade is tough. I didn't want to do it. She was a huge proponent of maintenance, and it's turned out, to be a good thing for us.
Right.
So that was kind of her baby. So she's in charge of some stuff.
Yeah. Now we're doing
Not the whole office.
No.
Not the whole office, yeah.
And I don't really want to be. But now we're doing classes with our guys, so I help with the printouts
And the food.
and the food.
Do you teach those classes, or?
I don't. Her dad's teaching them.
Okay.
The guy who I learned from
Right.
and took classes when I was working for him, he's teaching a similar class for our guys, and it's been a good way to kind of get them involved a little bit more. But no, I don't have the wherewithal to teach those classes, unfortunately.
And so recently, back in January, there were some changes in the HVAC world, right? With the R number and I'll pretend like I know what I'm talking about. But I don't.
A2L refrigerants. The EPA decided that the previous refrigerant, which was R410A, had too high of a global warming potential. So there's two metrics that we measure the safety of our refrigerants by,
Yeah.
and that's global warming potential and ozone depletion potential, so ODP and GWP. Ozone depletion was a big thing back when we switched from R22, and then we switched to 410. It wasn't ozone depleting, but now it's like we're warming up the planet too much. So global warming potential was the main concern of 410A. So we've switched now to R454B and R32, which is wonderful. It means higher equipment prices, flammable refrigerant, which everybody's up in arms about.
Yeah.
It's not really flammable in the sense that we're thinking about you don't have propane in your refrigerant lines. It's very mildly flammable.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what it's added to the picture is sensors and additional boards to shut these pieces of equipment down should
Right.
there be a refrigerant leak. So what that means for all you lovely people at home is higher equipment prices. And now there's another topic, which is tariffs. And our equipment has certainly not been immune to that, and in ways has been more subject to those increases because of aluminum.
Right.
Yeah, so prices jacking up.
See, you're a teacher and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You kind of nerded out there for a second on
Oh, yeah.
the HVAC world.
I mean, I get into the weeds all the time with clients about this stuff, so to try to help them understand, I know most people aren't concerned about what their refrigerant is called.
Right.
Really, what it means for people is that the previous refrigerant. So if you bought a unit between the years of 2007 and 2025, it's an R410 unit,
Right.
and that refrigerant's being phased out. And we'll have replacement refrigerants for that, but it'll become more expensive. And the new stuff is now getting way more expensive too. I mean, expensive. It's just, that's all it is.
But hopefully the systems are more
Technologically.
yes.
Right.
You would think so.
savvy with
No.
the boards.
Do they build the HVAC systems kind of like the appliances now, where maybe it's not built to last as long?
So to nerd out again, just for, hopefully I can get this under 2 minutes. So
We got all the
I
time
was
in the world.
interested, right? I was interested in why these pieces of equipment fail between the 10 and 15 year mark. So most equipment warranties for any reputable brand is 10-year limited parts warranties. That's what we have. And so I was like, these things are all failing between 10 and 15 years. It must be this planned obsolescence thing, which if you've got an iPhone, you know what planned obsolescence is because your iPhone won't work after about 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And software doesn't work as well. Your battery's dying in 10 minutes, that kind of thing. So I thought that was the same thing that was going on. As it turns out, it's not as nefarious as that. It's just materials to produce this equipment. They found out how much we actually need,
Right.
and they used to use too much. So if you have something that's still cranking away from the 80s, that's not surprising to me anymore,
Right.
because it would just made a little bit more hardy. There's still some equipment, like Train in particular, that their equipment and their components are more hardy than the next guys.
Right.
But they all pretty much are going to fail between 10 and 15 years old.
So it's not, a lot of people think HVACs are 20, 25 plus years. That's not the case anymore?
After
any
13
longer.
years, 13 years is kind of the median age of failure. And failure can happen for a number of reasons. Like sometimes it's a fan motor, right? Which is an incidental part, but say somebody doesn't want to dump $800 into fixing a 13 to, plus year unit. So the median age of failure is 13, variety of different reasons for the failure. I tell people after 15 years, it doesn't owe you anything.
Right.
Right, yeah.
And it's hard. I have this conversation every day with clients of like, oh, I can't believe it. And I'm like, I can. And in fact, you did pretty good to get 20 years out of it. Sometimes that helps soften the blow a little bit.
Right, yeah.
But then they hit them with this is what it's going to cost to replace the unit. I've told people recently just start sitting down before I give them numbers on stuff because it's not pretty.
So does your psychology background help you with that?
I'd like to think it does. I've often been commended on my ability to handle difficult clients. I don't know if that's just been a process of owning a company for 5 years or maybe the psychology helped. Hopefully college wasn't a complete waste of time.
And money.
Yeah.
It got you where you are today, right?
Yeah. I mean, one way or another, we got here. Yeah, I know how to write which is helpful. Writing emails, I mean, college taught me that. It taught me how to deal with difficult people, which isn't everybody, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah, but I'd say even our not difficult clients, but want to be educated, and I've heard many of individuals compliment Peyton on explaining the ins and outs and taking the time to really say, "Oh, this is why, and here are your options." Instead of just saying, "Oh, you're out of this money, and here's your new one," and no explanation as to why. So I do think your communicative skills are helpful.
So you're not just showing up to every job and saying, "Oh, you need a new HVAC."
Right.
Like maybe we can do like a $300 fix.
There's times that you've done that instead. Like
it builds trust too when you do that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's very rare. I'm going to tell you, repair is not an option. The only time I will do that is when I know, based on experience, that it's good money after bad, and that it's just couldn't possibly be a good decision.
Right.
A lot of people ask me the crystal ball question. I do this repair, I'm going to get another 10 years, right? And it's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can warranty the part that I've installed for a year, and here's the condition of the rest of the equipment as we see it. That's the best we can do. But we will often offer a repair where another company won't, because I feel it should be an option, right? If you've got $1,000 and you are hoping to get through a summer, we could probably make it happen in most cases.
Right.
And most people aren't in a position to shell out $10,000 to $15,000 for a new HVAC system, and that's why we offer financing.
I was just about to say that. Tease that up.
So what are those options? Does it vary?
Yeah, so we actually pay for the option to offer our clients. It's third-party financing, but we pay the financing company to offer a 6-month no-interest option. A lot of our clients use that.
Right.
And then the term can go as long as 5 years, I believe, and you can finance as much as you want and down to, I believe, $1,200. So, even if it's a relatively small job, you can still finance down to about $1,200.
And then do you explain to them kind of the scary number after the 6 months, no interest?
Well, so the 6-month no interest is actually only an option if you pay the whole loan in that 6-month period. Yeah, so it's not 6 months of no interest followed by 20%. So they get to choose their terms on and so that is one of the terms is a 6-month loan with no interest at all, but it must be paid in that 6 months.
If you don't pay it off, that's when you're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
But they know the numbers up front, because then they have to get.
Yeah, they are presented with all the options of the financing, and WiseTac is the company that we use. They've been fantastic.
They have been, yeah.
And what do you tell people springtime in Virginia, we're 80 degrees one day, 60 the next. So people are flopping between heat, AC. Is that going to break your system?
Absolutely not. All systems, that's too much. Not all systems, but let's say 90% of systems are going to be, they're going to be equipped with programming that's going to disallow the unit from switching back and forth between heating and cooling.
Right.
And also, if anybody has a heat pump, which lots of folks do, probably around 60% of our clientele or better have heat pumps. So that noise that it's making in the middle of winter, where it's making that screeching noise, followed by my outdoor unit's on fire because it's steaming.
Right.
It's what it's doing is it's defrosting. So it knows that coil is a block of ice and it needs to defrost it. What it's actually doing is abruptly switching between heating and cooling. So your unit's very capable of doing that. What I recommend to people in the swing seasons, spring and fall, is the auto function on the thermostat. Not auto on the fan, but auto between heat and cool. So you set a deadband of, say, 2 degrees, which is what we set at home, and you set it to 70. It'll hold 70. Except if it gets above 72, let's say, it'll turn on cooling, and then it will master to cooling until next time it gets below 68. Then it's going to heat, and it'll master to heat until it gets above 72.
They're smart.
It usually, we don't usually find that you're switching between heating and cooling that often, maybe once or twice a day this time of year.
Right,
And it's really not harmful at all for the equipment.
Yeah, because I know for our system, we might just turn it off for the day. and then now you need heat at night, and then you wake up and you're on fire, and you put on AC,
Yeah.
and you feel like you're gonna break it because you can hear it like turn off, turn on.
You're not going to break it.
Yeah.
The equipment really, it doesn't care whether it's running or not running or whether it's in heat and cool. It's age that kills these things more than anything.
Maybe it's like exercise for them.
Yeah.
Not quite, but
Yeah, we'll
you
go
can
with
think
that.
of it that way.
Yeah.
But I get that all the time from folks that are like, oh, I don't want to stress this thing too hard, or it's really not the case.
Right.
Will a unit that doesn't run at all last longer than the unit that runs all the time? Like the basement unit that doesn't ever run in AC
Yeah.
will last longer than the upstairs unit that's running 24/7 when it's
Right,
hot
yeah.
outside. But it's not like a super market difference where you need to be worried as the homeowner, hey, I got to not shut this thing on and off, and I'm just going to open the windows in the spring because I'm afraid of this thing.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, run it. It's fine.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you guys come up with the Air Care logo or the name even?
Years.
That was
Yeah,
Rachel.
that
So that is another contribution. She's our graphic designer.
Many of hats.
No, we love the logo. We've gotten compliments on it since our inception, and we will not change the logo. We had a marketing guy
like-
tell us to change it.
Too stressful.
We're like, nope. Well, it's
Yeah,
not too
well-
I just like it.
We like it, yeah, and it's everywhere. So you're right; that
Right.
would be a big financial.
on all the
undertaking.
vans,
Again, we started thinking about the company at the end of 2019, and I was working as a nurse full time and wasn't hands on the company really at all, except for I had the Word. Microsoft Word. Oh, my
Oh, yeah.
I mean, on my computer,
Yeah.
and was able to put the little shapes and did 2 circles and then the cursive writing
yeah.
under the word art, and it was nothing savvy, but thankfully to good companies in town. We use Icon screen printing for all of our printing on clothing. They were able to make it into a professional
Right.
format for us and
Yeah.
send it our way. And then Air Care was snagged from a medical, the helicopters that you see. There's a brand, or their name is Air Care, something medical related.
Oh,
But this
okay,
was
yeah.
Air Care Services
Right.
in an HVAC realm. And I did hear from my mom, who lives up in Pennsylvania, that there's another Air Care
Oh, wow.
that's an HVAC company, but they don't have the service.
Oh, there's hundreds. There's hundreds
Is
of
that
them.
right?
Yeah, I talk
Yeah.
to supply houses all the time that are
Right.
like, who are you? Air Care.
Which one?
Which one?
I guess air is like a common word for HVAC, just
Yeah.
like for
Yeah.
us.
And I
So-
actually got a phone call not too long ago about a guy that he's like explaining this thing that happened in his town, and there was a helicopter that came, like a medevac,
Yeah.
and came and picked this guy up that was in critical condition or whatever, and he's calling me because he thought that we were the people that picked the guy up,
Oh, my.
and he's like, "What's going on?" He's like trying to get the gossip from me, and I'm like, "I have no idea. How
Tell
can I know?"
me, yeah.
And I waited a while. I talked to him for 2-3 minutes, and I was like, "We're actually an HVAC company," and he's like, "Oh, I just searched Air Care," and I was like,
Hey,
yeah.
at least we're on the maps on the
Yeah.
Google search.
"Sure,
Yeah, you must have good SEO.
yeah. If you search medevac near me, Air Care might pop up. We most certainly cannot do it."
We can save your HVAC equipment, but not your life.
Yeah, there you go. You
It's
should-
been going well, but not well enough to buy a helicopter,
right.
unfortunately.
Not yet. Maybe that's like the 10-year plan.
Yeah, 10-year plan. Own a helicopter at all other expense.
Is that on your vision board in the office?
It is
That'd
not.
be cool.
Vision board. That's a good idea for the office.
I like that. No, I like the helicopter. The vision board, we can scratch that. The helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
We could have it land.
Private jet. Maybe you can go to like Florida and fix some HVACs.
Yeah.
They need AC.
That could be a write-off.
Yeah.
Yeah. People really misunderstand write-offs. They think it means free.
Yeah. You don't get all the money back.
Right. No, helicopter not on the purview for us. Just getting through, with we've been growing recently,
Right.
and the growing pains have been felt pretty heavily over the last 4 or 5 months. We've taken on a lot bigger contracts, and there was a lot of unforeseen issues in doing that. We've
Yeah.
managed to kind of weather the storm at this point. I
Yeah.
think we're kind of over the hump, but Yeah, it's been tough. I know why there's a lot of HVAC companies in town that are 2 and 3 guys.
Right.
Because back in those days, it was
How many
good
guys?
old days.
How many guys do you have?
We have 7,
Yeah, 7.
me, her, and her dad. So 10 total. So 3
Yeah.
kind of office and,
Right.
and 7 in the field.
And do you guys have like multiple trucks running? Are they going in like teams?
It would be pretty weird if we had all 7 guys in one truck. Although
15 passenger van.
might be fun to try.
Yeah.
We've got 1, 2, 3. I think we have 7 vehicles on the road. Well, they're not all on the road all at
Yeah.
once, but yeah, we have 7.
Oh, so they're
vehicles.
going
Yeah,
by
we've
themselves.
A lot of them are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have several vans, and then a pickup truck, a box truck,
My vehicle.
and then our
Well, next time I hire you guys, if you could get like a 15 passenger van and just send the whole crew,
Yeah.
and we can install it in like 2 hours, that would be awesome.
I like it.
Yeah.
We've got a trailer.
That would be an expensive
We could
2 hours.
It would probably be longer because they would be like overstepping each other.
That's the problem in a lot of cases of just like the area where you can actually work on this equipment is pretty limited.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you're like, okay, we're slow this week. Well, I'll send 4 guys at this change out and it'll get done in half the time. No, it gets done in the same amount of time and 2 guys are twiddling their thumbs the whole time.
Right. Just watching.
Yeah, exactly. So we do avoid that
Yeah.
in most cases of just, unless we're sending them there with the intent and purpose of learning.
Right.
It's like, hey, you're an
Yeah.
observer to occasionally do a small task.
Right. Yeah.
And there are times that we do that too.
Which with the growth, we've had some newer hires, so learning is key as of late.
Yeah.
And yeah, that growth went from making a switch from mostly residential to some light commercial, and now trying to lean in heavy to the commercial sector. So that was kind of the growing and transition. But we're at the 5-year mark. I feel like a lot of businesses at that point decide what they're going to do. Are they going to stay at the size they are? Are they going to try to
Right.
grow significantly?
I think 80% of small businesses fail within 5 years. And also 80% of statistics are made up. So
Right.
knows?
Yeah. Who are these people that are making these statistics?
Yeah, I don't
up?
know. I know a lot of folks fail within the first 5 years, and we made it,
Yeah.
you know?
There you go.
Hold up. Before we jump back into the episode, let's hear a quick word from yours truly. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Virginia or West Virginia, I'm ready to help you make that move. Whether it's finding your forever home or looking to sell, I've got the experience and the visibility you need. Check the description below for the best way to reach out to me. And now let's get back to the episode.
So,
On
Yeah.
to the next 5.
Right.
Every 5 years is going to be definitely a big like jump for you guys.
I would like the next 5 to be trying to phase out working as much for us. It's been a huge undertaking in the first, and we are blessed to have like amazing guys that have helped us out, and we wouldn't be where we're at today without the guys that we have on our team. I mean,
Right.
they're all awesome. But I would like to work less.
Right. Well, I think finding people that are really good at what they do and then can take some of the load off of us as the company grows. And we've got 2 little ones at home, and we like to
Right. Yeah.
focus our time on them. But hey,
Won't be long before they're crawling around in duct systems.
yeah, in
Right.
the
There you
future,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. They can fit in like the crawl space in the tight attic.
Yeah, or in the just in the ductwork itself. Duct cleaners, we'll just wrap them in Swiffers and just send them in the duct system.
Josie
Yeah.
would love that. Our daughter Josie, she is like the queen of comfy. She wants to be wrapped in a fuzzy blanket or fuzzy clothes at all times. So yeah, Swiffer, that's like a dream to her.
Yeah,
There
I
you
don't
go.
think she'd do so well in the duct. So Arlo, he would. Our son, he would love it.
He'd be too big. He's
Yeah,
big.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
too big.
How do you guys like retain the workers that you have? Like, do you do something special to, I'm sure you treat them well and all that stuff, but is there anything that you do that's like extra special, or because a lot of businesses have a lot of overturn type stuff?
Yeah, I think that's a step in owning a business that you don't really think of right away, especially if you're not in, say, a franchise. I have a friend of ours who inherited a bunch of information regarding retention of your employees, and so we're working through that right now so we can
Right.
set things in place to make them feel, valued and loved and
Right.
hear their concerns more often. But we've done some things. We took our guys to Mexico one time early on.
We only had 2 guys at that.
that was
okay.
exciting. Yeah, I think it was like at how many years that we reached, like
It was 2 or 3
2 or
years.
3,
Yeah.
and we were like,
I think the long and the short of it is it's just tough. As you grow, I've realized that it gets tougher and tougher because it used to be the case that I was with these guys every day, you know, in the field, you know, doing the installations, the service, the repairs, and I was there. And now I'm in the office and I'm not talking to every one of my guys every day. It's gotten harder, like the HR side of it.
Yeah.
And as I say that, my phone rings. Yeah, and how do you keep them? You treat them as best as you possibly can. Try to set clear expectations
Right.
of what the guys, what the expectations of me should be, and I'm going to try to hold myself to this standard,
Yeah.
and then the standard that we try to hold the guys to. We've tried the philosophy of maximal latitude, like give them a long leash.
Right.
That's been our strategy. It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah.
We've had guys in the past that they need to be told what, they need to have more structure.
Right.
And so we're not a good fit for everybody. We try to be competitive with benefits.
Right.
We try to be competitive with pay. But we also try to let our guys understand, like, this is an opportunity to kind of be in on the ground floor of what we feel is a really good opportunity to be in an up-and-coming HVAC company in Winchester. We expect to be a staple in this town. We are the youngest company around.
Right.
I think that's still true. I hired a couple of a little bit more seasoned guys, but
Right.
yeah, but our average age is maybe 30.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to be around. So I try to set that expectation too of, like, we won't be able to give you everything that the biggest company in town might possibly be able to give you. Like a
Right.
brand new van. We've never bought a brand new vehicle.
Yeah.
We probably won't for some time.
Right.
And doing the same thing. We can't offer that. I can't offer a guy, hey, you just come and be our chiller guy.
Right.
We don't have that position available. You got to
Right.
work on all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Most of our guys enjoy it, but
Yeah,
it
it's not
isn't
monotonous.
for everybody. And and I guess the answer is it's been hard, but
But they've stayed.
the good ones stick around.
Yeah.
And sometimes the good ones leave. We had a fantastic employee leave, and he left for personal reasons, but
Right.
it was still hard. It was the first guy I ever hired.
Yeah.
Right.
And he was with us for better part of 4 years. And,
But
and
he went to chase a girl, and they just got engaged.
On to
so we're
greener
very
pastures.
excited for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think also just we want to enjoy coming to work. I worked at Winchester Medical Center, which is huge, and
Right.
you can feel like a number. And so we want personally to come to work and like the people we work with. We want our guys to come to work and really enjoy whomever they're working with for that day or coming in and talking to us. So we want to treat our guys like family and ultimately have them be our friends. So I think a good environment where you want to show up each day makes individuals want to stay.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you guys said, I mean, you're young, you're out here, you're hustling, you're in it for the long haul. I know you're involved in the community. How has that kind of helped you grow?
Oh, tremendously. Yeah. And that's another thing that Rachel's in charge of that we didn't give her credit for earlier was
It keeps
networking.
coming up throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the networking part has been a big deal, and trying to be involved as much as we can. We were in the Apple Blossom Parade last year. That was really cool. She's more in tune with the endeavors. So take it away, Rach. What do we do for the community?
Yeah, well, I think Winchester is ever growing, but we love it so much here, and we want to keep ourselves to be, prominent in the community. But by doing that, you have to know people. So rather than just advertising online or doing some kind of crazy marketing that way, I want to get in front of the
Right.
people who live here and
Build a
people
relationship.
who
Yeah.
also make Winchester what it is. And
Right.
so we're in some networking groups, and we try to post every week about a small business in Winchester that we personally work with or
Right.
have enjoyed, whether it be their food or their
Dry cleaning services. No, we
whatever,
don't use
whatever
those.
it might be. But we try to promote our community. We want to live here. We want to help it grow as it is. We want our children to be here and, God willing, stay. So
And work in the company, maybe.
We'll see. I don't know.
yeah, if they want to.
I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. No, I'm
You
just kidding.
stop.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I would love for one or both of our kids at least to maybe get an experience of, the workplace with us
Yeah.
before they head out into the big bad world.
A generational company is something that we are
Depends on
shooting
how many
for.
kids we have.
I'm game to have more.
I'm not.
It's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the cool things about your business, everybody that you meet, businesses, everybody needs an HVAC or they have an HVAC. So, like, basically everybody you guys meet is an opportunity.
That's true.
Yeah, it's hard not to look at it that way sometimes, especially when we've gotten slower, to not try to put that in the conversation where it might not belong. Oh, by the way.
How's your HVAC
Yeah,
working?
how's your HVAC running?
Right. Yeah.
And,
Well, no, we want everybody to know that we're here
yeah.
when the time comes that they need us, right?
Right.
right.
Yeah.
But we still want to have friends that we've got plenty of friends who we haven't worked on their HVAC.
Yeah,
yet,
but if
too.
they use another company, they're dead to us.
Yeah. Well, there it is. One really cool thing about you guys is when I call, I get Peyton. I can
Yeah.
text him, and I try not to text you too late because I know you have kids and I have kids, so
that's why
I know
we're up
I know
late.
the pain.
Whatever line you draw, somebody else is drawing a different line.
Right.
So trust me, you can do it as late as you want. I'm fielding calls all the time.
Right. Yeah. But that is cool because I'm not calling and getting some answering service.
Sure.
And then they're like, every time I call, okay, what is your name? What is your email? Like, and I tell them I've used this company for 5 years. Like, you already know my name, my email, and the invoices. So it's nice, and I can pass it along to clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to be personal.
I do apologize to all those clients whom have called me and have worked with us before, and I forget to save their number. I try to be good about that. And often I'll get a client that's surprised that I address them by first name when I answer the phone. Like, oh, you remember me? Sort of. You're in my phone. But typically we do remember our people, you
Right.
know, and especially if you've been with us for a long time. I've probably personally been at your house.
Yeah.
So it is cool that the owner answers the phone. It's also probably not tenable for a long-term future,
Right.
but for the foreseeable future, my number's on the sides of the vans, and it's on the Facebook pages and the website and all that. So
So if you like what you hear and maybe you want a little counseling session from Mr. Psychologist over here, just give him a
$120 an
call.
hour, which is pretty good for a counselor.
Yeah. What's the hourly rate for HVAC? Is it less than that?
120. That's
Yeah.
that's our hourly rate for residential. I wish we were immune to the inflation and everything else. I'd like to do everything for as cheap as possible. It's never been our MO, but it is kind of how you get a foothold in the market, because like when we started, we didn't have any overhead. There was no reason for us to charge like a large company would charge. And now we're kind of getting into that middle market, let's say.
Yeah.
And it hurts me as much as it hurts. Well, maybe not as much as it hurts the end user, but it hurts me to have to raise prices. But yeah, I think we started with maybe we were $100 an hour, so we've only increased 20% over 5 years.
Yeah.
And
So
when we
not bad.
began, we were in our home garage using our personal vehicle.
Yeah,
You guys have a warehouse now or an office?
we do. Yeah, both. We've got a shop space where we've got storage and two offices, and it's nice.
4 bathrooms.
4
The
bathrooms.
guys
Oh,
love
wow.
that in
You
the
could
morning.
pick a different one every day.
That's a lot to clean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
And do you guys?
Speaking of another of Rachel's responsibilities.
Now we kind of all share that. I mean, how well do we do? It's not
Clean up
terrible.
after yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's better than you would expect with nobody doing it regularly.
Right. And do you guys keep HVAC systems in stock?
Not-
Oh, we have our 2024 line, and
No, we're
On
not
discount?
that big. Yeah, that would have been cool, especially at the turn of the year, to be able to start. And a lot of the big companies did that. They
Yeah.
bought up a bunch of inventory, and then they're still installing that 410 stuff where we are at the mercy of the supply house
right.
and what they have.
Yeah.
We have some small items stocked. We'll always have capacitors, contactors, transformers, small service items.
Right.
But we don't stock much, if any, equipment. That said, a lot of times what we can do is lock in pricing. So now with the uncertainty of the future in pricing, I tell all my clients, hey, if you want to do this installation, and it's a matter of time or it's a matter of money, that's deterring you from doing it next week,
Right.
let's get a deposit in. I will purchase the equipment. It'll sit at a shop until we do the job. So we've been doing that where we'll store equipment. But
And do you ever get that and then they call you up 3 months later and say, actually, we're not going to do it this year?
never has happened after a deposit is in. So that's the key. Once they got the deposit, then then it'll kind of, they've got some skin in the game,
Right,
And
exactly.
so they're not typically saying, "Hey, never mind," or really ever. I don't think that's ever happened.
Right.
So
But we do have a spectacular. The individuals we purchase our equipment through. They're wonderful. Southern Refrigeration and.
we use
Ferguson for some,
Ferguson.
Yeah, but Southern I would say is our main supplier, and they almost always have what we need.
Yeah.
And do you guys take weekend calls, like emergency calls?
We do.
Apple
I
Blossom.
take them. Yes, I take.
So
the
you
calls.
actually like go out and do the work?
Well, sometimes I just mean like I'm gonna field the call at the very
okay.
least. And like
Sure.
this past weekend, I was on call, so you still might get me.
Right.
But our guys are really great about taking turns.
Yeah, they've been excellent. They've been so good at taking emergency calls that we don't even really have an on-call schedule,
Okay.
which we probably need to. But somebody's always available.
Does it
And-
benefit them to take the call? Do they get more money?
Oh,
or-
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're double time on holidays, and then time and a half on the weekends.
So people actually call on like Christmas and New Year's and
Oh yeah.
I'm having a
would-
party.
one
the
We try
Christmas
not to
Eve.
have our guys on holidays.
One Christmas Eve, I was working on a boiler until about 2 a.m, and it might not have been that late. Maybe it was 11, but to me it was
Felt
2
like it,
a.m.
yeah.
Christmas Eve, working well into the night, and fixed the boiler, and everything was great. And then a few months later, the apartments burned down, and I thought for a second, "Oh no, what have I done?" But it wasn't. It was somebody left their oven on. Yeah. So no, there's lots of safeties and stuff, but you get, as a business owner, you get worried about that kind of
Sure,
stuff.
we've got lots of insurance for in case
I don't think they
something
would have
crazy
covered
were to
that.
happen, but,
Are boilers like a big thing? I mean, I see them in houses all the time with like oil tanks and
Yeah. I would say if we had to say a proportion of the houses that we deal with, maybe 10% of them have boilers. Radiant heat is phenomenal. It's the best form of heat. It is relatively silent. It doesn't dry your air out. It's not forced air. So
Right.
if somebody that has lived with radiant heat is generally unwilling to go
Right.
to forced air heat.
right. I heard it's good for like allergies and stuff like that. Is that true?
Yeah, it's better because it's not moving your air around all the time.
Yeah.
Then that dust just settles on surfaces and doesn't ever get stirred up by a forced
Yeah.
air system. If I get to design the forced air system, the duct system, then we will make them quiet, efficient, comfortable. But it's hard to talk people out of radiant. And we do a lot of radiant work as well. Yeah.
Is it ran by oil only or is it gas too?
Yeah, no, not at all. So oil and gas, and there are electric boilers. They're very rare and very high in energy in electrical consumption.
Right.
It's just the pure amount of capacity that you've got to dump at this. Think about it like this: you're heating up hundreds, if not thousands, of gallons of water and circulating that through the house, and that's what's heating your house. So you need a lot of capacity, a lot of heating ability in order
Right.
to be able to do that. Typically they're going to be propane, natural gas, or oil. And I would say there's a fair mixture of the three.
And do they build the new ones? Like the old ones, like you don't want your kids touching.
right.
So do they build them now much safer?
I'm sending 140 to 180 degree water to those radiators. So if it's 180 degree water, normally what you're actually getting at the radiators between 160 and 120, but at the boiler it's between 140 and 180 degree water. So that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
You still don't want your kids touching a 160 degree radiator.
Yeah.
No.
But cats seem to love it. They can sit on it all day.
Yeah. I
They've
wonder
got
what that is compared to a shower. Maybe like 90
So
degrees.
a shower, typically the safe setting for your water heater, the legal setting for your water heater maximum is 120 degrees. So that's where most residences are going to be, is at 120. You can crank it up to 130. As soon as you get to 140, it's scalding hot. So
Yeah, I would never turn it all the way up.
yeah, no, to put it, a lot of people want it where they like, I want to be able to get, the maximum heat.
Fastest. Yeah, or like,
And that's
or-
really what it
yeah.
is delivering heated water quickly is why you'd set it to 140. So your recovery time is actually a little bit quicker. But 120 is typical.
Right.
What's going to deliver to your fixture if you just turn it on hot and don't turn any cold on.
Yeah.
Right.
But don't some of our clients, if they're, say, like redoing a bathroom or even a new build, they'll put, is that what heats the floors?
Yeah, radiant floor in the bathroom is
Or
often
there's no,
electric.
like, actual radiator that you would
Oh.
touch. It's just in the ground.
Yeah, so radiant floor in the bathroom is typically going to be electric, and that's like the most common that you'll see in a bathroom is electric radiant floor that they'll put in when they rip up the subfloor and they're remodeling a bathroom.
Yeah.
But in-floor radiant heat is an option as well, a very expensive option.
Yeah.
But
Maybe
it's-
maybe
That'd
if
be
you're doing
nice
a
throughout
new
your
build.
house.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
we're doing one right now. We're in the process of doing one right now where they originally were on the radiant floor idea and then have since decided against it. We've done new installs in radiant floor. Often you'll have them in a slab,
Right.
and then if you have them in the subflooring, there's some functional concerns with it, but it's really nice to have a warm floor to walk on when it's 10 degrees outside.
Right,
You don't
yeah.
need sandals or house slippers at that.
Yeah, it's a luxury item, but you want to own a Maserati, might as well do it. Yeah.
Do you?
Do you have any crazy stories of like being in tight crawl spaces or attics and you're just like
Some furry friends.
second guessing this whole HVAC thing? You're like so frustrated.
I don't know like when I encounter those types of things, I don't know if I'm ever like in the mind space of like I'm done with this.
Yeah.
It's more just interesting. It's not for the faint of heart. I've encountered all kinds of animals, lots and lots of snakes. But I've had to kill some bats. Look, bats, lots of birds. The other day I go up into a lady's attic and she's like, "What's that noise?" I was like, "It's about 200 baby birds." She's like, "Oh, I've been hearing some stuff up there." I'm like, "Yeah."
That was not your HVAC. Yeah. Your HVAC's working great.
Right. Also, it's not even in the attic. Yeah, so we've seen all kinds of crazy stuff.
All the creepy basements. Like,
Although-
I've come and tagged along on a couple, not actually doing the work, just coming to see if I'm in the area, maybe get some photos. And I would want to be down there. And I'm not easily spooked, but
Right.
there's some.
Yeah, right. In the building that we're in all around the walking mall, there's, crawl spaces and cellar areas that they've got to be haunted.
Yeah.
And there's tunnels that connect them.
I was going to see that. Have you seen those tunnels that apparently, connect different businesses and things throughout?
Really? No comment.
Okay.
They're not supposed to be there, or they're not supposed to be accessed. Yeah, so professionally, no. But yes.
You've never went to the drywall or anything?
Oh yeah, I've been through the drywall. I think it's a rite of passage that you got to go through the drywall.
You get your attic feet.
We've tried very, very hard to train. I mean, again, from a professional standpoint, like when we first get green guys and we tell them, "Hey, here's the rafters. You got to walk on these. If you're not sure, don't step."
Yeah.
If it's blown in insulation, take the time, move the blown in insulation out of the way so you know where to put your feet. The inevitable reality is that you're gonna go through a ceiling, and you just hope that your safe plan happens.
Yeah.
There's a bed underneath.
Yeah. They're safe and that our clients are really understanding. We've had some phenomenal.
Yeah,
Don't worry, we have a great drywall.
we do have a fantastic drywall guy.
Your drywall wasn't looking that great.
Yeah, he's awesome, and so we'll get it sorted if we go through your drywall.
Yeah.
Rest assured, we will try to match the paint as best we can.
Hopefully it was like a bad ceiling to begin with. And you're like, yes, this is really to your benefit.
Yeah, I did go through a ceiling one time in the factory, and there was a bunch of wires and stuff that fortunately halfway caught me, and a friend of mine was underneath me working and physically caught me as I fell through this 12-foot ceiling.
Gee.
Yeah.
So no broken bones, stitches.
Not so far. Our guys certainly
Yeah.
have
Our one. Can I say it? Yeah.
injury prone. Sure, you could say so. That does he work
Came
for.
in there, Courtney, love you. We love you. But he is like our
injury probe guy.
Yes, our bull and China shop. There's been many of, hey, Nurse Rachel, do I need to go to the ER? Can we glue this? Can we duct tape this?
Oh, wow.
Yes. But
See?
We do all of the OSHA safety trainings. They know what they're supposed to do.
gloves.
Do they do what they're supposed to do?
Yeah, sometimes though.
Yeah. You do not put duct tape over your finger to stop the bleeding.
Oh, sure you do.
Yeah.
It stops at night. Yeah. Rub some dirt in it, put some
Duct tape on it, and you're good.
Yeah. So it sounds like your nursing background and psychology are paying off.
Yeah, it works out.
Yeah.
Nothing is for nothing. Is for nothing. Is that true?
It got you to here.
Yeah. I think everything we've gone through got us to where we are, and humbly will continue to do so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate it. If somebody wants your services, what do they do? Call you, email you? Call Peyton, of course.
Yeah, you can call me. It's as easy as Google Air Care Services. The number that pops up is my number. You can stop one of my guys as they're driving.
Yeah.
You can take a picture of the van. If you want to reach us, it's 540-532-3162. Don't know how many times I've said that phone number, but far too many.
Yeah. Like a call, email, website, Facebook. Come stop by the shop.
Call's the easiest.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. And hopefully the next 5 years is profitable and you grow.
Hopefully you have us on before the
Stress-free. Yeah, we'll have to have you back and see how you're doing.
Love Alice's.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yep. Thank you.